Valentine's Day, the one day of the year dedicated to love, to celebrating the bond between two people. Candles, roses, expensive dinners, whispered promises. That's what it was supposed to be. For me, it was the night I found out my wife was a lying, cheating snake. I should have known something was off when Eva didn't seem excited about our dinner plans. Normally, she loved Valentine's Day, dropped hints about jewelry, made reservations herself just to make sure I wouldn't forget. But this year, barely a mention. I might be working late, she had said that morning, sliding on her heels without even looking at me. Don't wait up. Lies. Every word of it. I had planned to surprise her. Thought maybe work had been stressful. Maybe she needed a reminder of how much I loved her. So I showed up at her office with a bouquet of red roses and a reservation at the place we went to every year. Except she wasn't there. The office was dark. Empty. Even her assistant, who usually stayed late, was gone. That's when the first thread unraveled. Called her. No answer. Texted. Delivered. But no reply. Then, as I stood in the cold, gripping those stupid roses, I checked her location. She was at the Hilton. The roses hit the pavement as I walked to my car. My mind raced, my chest tight. I didn't even have to think about it. My body moved on autopilot, navigating the streets, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. The Hilton was only 10 minutes away, but it felt like an eternity. My stomach churned. My hands itched to break something, someone. I pulled into the parking lot and spotted her car immediately. Parked far from the entrance, like she was trying to be discreet. Coward. Could have called. Could have texted her again. Given her a chance to lie. But I didn't want words. I wanted proof. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. I walked into the hotel lobby, heartbeat pounding in my ears. The receptionist barely glanced at me as I strode past the desk. The elevator ride-up felt suffocating, each floor dragging by like it was mocking me. Room 214. I stopped in front of the door, fists clenched. Muffled voices. A laugh. Asterisk her laugh star. I didn't knock. Didn't wait. I slammed the door open so hard it hit the wall, the lock snapping from the force. And there she was. Eva. My wife. Half-dressed. Tangled up in some other man's arms. Her eyes widened, mouth falling open. Harry. I didn't even look at him. My vision tunneled, locked onto her. On the betrayal, the deceit, the absolute audacity of her sitting there, in a hotel bed, while I had spent the day thinking of her. What the hell is this? I asked, voice calm. Too calm. She scrambled up, reaching for her clothes. It's not what it looks like. I laughed. Actually laughed. Not what it looks like. Really? The guy, blonde, gym rat type, started to say something, but I shut him up with a glare. Eva's eyes darted around the room, panic setting in. Harry, just listen. Listen. I stepped forward, watching her flinch. Oh, I'm listening, Eva. This should be good. She swallowed hard, trying to pull her dress over her head, fumbling with the straps. It was a mistake. I was. Asterisk, a mistake, asterisk? I repeated, my voice dangerously low. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. This is a choice. She fell silent, eyes glistening. Crocodile tears. I exhaled sharply, shaking my head. On Valentine's Day, Eva? I let out a bitter laugh. Jesus Christ. She took a step closer, voice trembling. Harry, I put a hand up. Don't. Just don't. I turned to leave, but then paused, glancing at the guy still sitting there, looking like he wished he could disappear. I smirked. Happy Valentine's Day, buddy. Hope she's worth it. Then I walked out. Eva called after me, her voice desperate, but I didn't stop, didn't look back. She made her choice. Now it was my turn. I drove without a destination, hands gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My breathing was ragged, my chest heaving with something between rage and disbelief. My mind kept replaying it, the image of Eva tangled up with him, the way she looked at me like I was the one in the wrong for catching her. The fake tears, the pathetic excuses. I pulled over into an empty parking lot, shutting off the engine. Silence. Nothing but the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. My hands shook. My stomach twisted. Nausea creeping up my throat. How long had this been going on? How many nights had I kissed her goodbye, believing she was working late when she was really with him? How many mornings had she come home, climbed into our bed, and laid beside me after? No, I couldn't even finish that thought. I clenched my jaw, willing myself to think straight. I needed proof. Real proof. She would lie. Of course she would. Eva could lie her way out of a burning building if it meant saving her own skin. I needed something concrete, something she couldn't talk her way out of. With a deep breath, I pulled out my phone and started digging. I checked her messages first. Nothing. She must have deleted everything. But I knew better. People like Eva always slipped up somewhere. Her email. Bingo. An old reservation at the Hilton. Dates that lined up perfectly with the nights she claimed to be working late. One was even on our anniversary. I kept scrolling, and then I found it. An email from him. Asterisk, last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. Can't wait until next time. Same room. Asterisk. My hands trembled as I stared at the words. I clicked on his name. Ryan Keller. I recognized it immediately. He wasn't just some guy. He was her coworker. Someone she had introduced me to at a company event months ago. Laughing as she said, asterisk, Ryan's great. We work together all the time. Asterisk. Now I knew exactly what kind of work they had been doing. I inhaled sharply, shoving my phone into my pocket. I wasn't going to be another idiot husband who let his cheating wife walk all over him. I wasn't going to give her time to cook up another lie. I was going to end this on my terms. I turned the car around and drove home. The house was dark when I pulled into the driveway. I sat there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel, gathering myself. Then I walked inside, flipping on the lights. Eva wasn't home yet. Perfect. I moved quickly, grabbing a suitcase from the closet and tossing it onto the bed. Clothes, shoes, anything I could get my hands on. I threw them in without caring if they wrinkled, without caring if I forgot something. Then I went to the bathroom and swept all of her things into a trash bag. Perfume, skincare, makeup, gone. By the time I was done, there was nothing left of her in my house. It wasn't our house anymore. I grabbed the suitcase and dragged it to the front door. Then I texted her, asterisk, your stuff is packed. Come get it and get out. Asterisk. No explanation. No questions. Just facts. Minutes later, my phone buzzed. Eva. Asterisk. Harry, what are you talking about? Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk. Where are you? Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk. Please just talk to me. Asterisk. I didn't reply. She could talk when she got here. Half an hour later, headlights flashed through the window. The door flew open. Eva stormed in, hair a mess, still in that damn dress she had worn to the hotel. Her eyes were wide, frantic, like she knew she had lost control of the situation. Harry, what the hell is going on? She demanded, her gaze darting to the suitcase by the door. I stood there, arms crossed, silent. Her voice softened, fake concern dripping from her lips. Baby, I don't know what you think happened, but it's not. I cut her off. Don't. She flinched at my tone. Her face twisted into something uglier, something more her. So what? You're just throwing me out? She scoffed, crossing her arms. You're not even going to hear me out? Hear you out. I let out a bitter laugh. I already did. In that hotel room. And in your emails. Her face paled. Yeah. I continued, stepping closer. I saw the reservation, Eva. Saw the messages. Last night was amazing. That rang a bell. Her mouth opened and closed, searching for words. And then, just like that, the act dropped. She rolled her eyes. Jesus, Harry. Are you really going to throw everything away over one mistake? I shook my head. A mistake? No, Eva. A mistake is ordering the wrong coffee. A mistake is forgetting to turn off the stove. This, I gestured between us. This was a choice. 1,000 choices. Over and over again. She exhaled sharply, pacing. Look, she said, her voice lower now, calculating. We can fix this. I didn't respond. She stepped closer, reaching for me. Come on, Harry. You don't want to do this. We have history, a life. Are you really going to throw it all away? I looked her dead in the eyes. You did, I said coldly. For the first time, real panic flickered across her face. I stepped aside, pointing to the door. Take your stuff and go. Her lips pressed into a thin line. And then she did exactly what I expected her to do. She didn't cry, didn't apologize. She laughed. Fine, she snapped, yanking up the suitcase. You're pathetic, you know that? You think you're so righteous. But you're just some bitter little man who couldn't keep his wife happy. I didn't flinch. She glared at me, waiting for a reaction. She got nothing, and that's what broke her. Her face twisted in rage, and she stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I exhaled, shoulders dropping. The house was quiet, empty, and for the first time in a long time, that felt like a good thing. I stood there for a long time, staring at the door she had just slammed shut. The silence pressed against me, heavy and unfamiliar. For years, this house had been filled with her voice. Nagging, lying, manipulating. Now it was just gone. I should have felt relieved, should have felt some sense of victory. Instead, there was just this strange hollowness in my chest. Not sadness, not regret, just emptiness. I walked over to the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of whiskey, and poured myself a glass. The ice clinked as I swirled the amber liquid, staring at it like it had the answers I needed. Eva was gone. I had made sure of that. But now what? Divorce. The word tasted bitter in my mouth, but there was no avoiding it. I wasn't the kind of man who let a cheating wife stick around and play house like nothing happened. No, she had made her choice and I was going to make mine. I grabbed my phone and dialed the first lawyer I found online. A tired-sounding secretary picked up. Richardson and Klein. How may I assist you? I need a divorce lawyer, I said, my voice flat. She sighed. Sir, it's nearly midnight. Our office opens at. I don't care when your office opens, I interrupted. I want an appointment first thing in the morning. A pause. Then the sound of typing. We have an opening at 9. I'll be there. I hung up without another word. The whiskey burned as I took a long sip. One problem down. Now there was only one left. Ryan. The piece of garbage my wife had been screwing behind my back. My grip tightened around the glass. I hadn't touched him in that hotel room. Hadn't punched his smug face in. But that didn't mean I had let it go. I pulled up his name on my phone and found his social media. His account was public. *idiot*. And it took me less than 2 minutes to find exactly what I needed. He had a girlfriend. Her name was Megan Sullivan, and judging by her posts, she had no idea that her beloved Ryan was screwing another man's wife. Perfect. I copied her profile link and sent her a message. You don't know me, but I think we need to talk. Your boyfriend isn't who you think he is. Call me. I attached the screenshots from Eva's emails. Then, I finished my drink and went to bed. The next morning, my phone buzzed before my alarm even went off. Megan. I answered immediately. Yeah. Her voice was shaky, thick with disbelief. Who are you? Harry. My wife was sleeping with your boyfriend. Silence. Then a sharp inhale. No, that's not possible. I sighed, rubbing my temple. Check the screenshots I sent you. The hotel reservations. The emails. I wouldn't be calling if I wasn't sure. I heard her breathing pick up. Then a muffled sniffle. How long? At least a few months, I said. Probably longer. She didn't say anything for a while. Just breathing, processing. Then her voice hardened. Where does he work? I smirked. That's the spirit. I gave her the name of his company. Do whatever you want with that information. She exhaled shakily. Thanks. And I'm sorry for what she did to you. I didn't respond, just ended the call. By the time I got to the lawyer's office, my phone was blowing up with texts from Eva. Eva, *, what the hell did you do? *, Eva, *, Asterisk Megan just called Ryan's boss and sent him all the proof. Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk he got fired, Harry. Do you have any idea what you've done? Asterisk. I chuckled darkly, stepping into the lawyer's office. Eva had played her game. Now I was playing mine. The lawyer's office smelled like stale coffee and paper. Cold, impersonal, exactly what I needed. A woman in a gray suit greeted me and led me to a glass-walled conference room. Within minutes, I was sitting across from Mark Richardson, a middle-aged man with sharp eyes and the kind of expression that said he had seen this 100 times before. So, he said, adjusting his tie, tell me what we're dealing with. I leaned forward, placing my phone on the table. My wife cheated on me, repeatedly. I want her out of my life as fast as possible. Mark nodded, flipping open a yellow notepad. Any shared assets? Joint accounts. The house is in my name. She has a separate bank account. No kids. That makes it easy, he said, scribbling something down. Does she have a job? I let out a short, bitter laugh. She had one. Her little boyfriend was her coworker. But thanks to some unfortunate emails getting sent to the wrong person, he's unemployed now. Which means she'll probably try to milk me for everything she can. Mark barely blinked. She won't get much. No kids, no shared property, no long-term dependency. We can file a no-fault divorce, but if you want to make things ugly, we can go for adultery grounds. With proof, that could shut down any chance she has at spousal support. I slid my phone across the table. I have emails, hotel receipts, screenshots of their messages. Take your pick. Mark scanned the screen and smirked. She really wasn't careful, was she? No, I muttered. She was comfortable. He made a few more notes, then looked at me seriously. Do you want this to be fast? Or do you want to make her pay? I thought about it. Dragging this through the courts would ruin her. Expose her. Take everything she thought she could still hold over me and burn it to the ground. I clenched my jaw, then exhaled. Fast. I want her gone. I don't need to drag this out. Just end it. Mark nodded. Good choice. I'll have the papers drawn up by the end of the day. If she refuses to sign, we'll take the next step. I shook his hand, left the office, and walked out into the bright morning sun. My phone was still buzzing. Eva. Asterisk, we need to talk. Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk. Please, Harry, you're overreacting. Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk. You don't want to do this. Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk, just talk to me. One more time. Asterisk. I read them all and ignored them. She wanted one more talk? Too bad. She had wasted every last word I was ever going to listen to. I got into my car, put my phone on silent, and drove home. By the time I got there, her car was in the driveway. Of course it was. I stepped out, and she was already storming toward me, eyes red, hair a mess. Harry, what the hell is wrong with you? I walked right past her, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. She followed. You got Ryan fired? Do you even know what you've done? I turned to her, calm. I told you to take your things and leave. Why are you still here? She scoffed. Are you serious? This is your response? Not even a conversation. You lost the right to a conversation. She let out a short, bitter laugh. You're such a child. And you're a liar? I shot back, voice low. So pack your things and get out. She clenched her fists, looking around the house like she was just realizing this was real. You don't have to do this, Harry. We can fix things. I stared at her, amazed at how deep her delusion ran. There's nothing to fix, I said, stepping past her. The divorce papers will be ready by tonight. I suggest you sign them. She grabbed my arm. You really think you'll just walk away from this? That easy? I pulled away, locking eyes with her. I already have. Her face twisted, something between fury and desperation. Then, just like before, the act dropped. Her lips curled into a cold smirk. Fine, but don't expect this to be clean. She turned, grabbed her bag, and stormed out. The door slammed shut behind her. I exhaled, and just like that, she was gone. The silence that followed was heavier than I expected. No yelling, no slamming doors, no fake tears. Just the dull hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of a dog barking outside. Eva was gone, and for the first time in years, the house actually felt like mine again. I ran a hand through my hair, taking a deep breath. This should have felt good. Victory. But all I felt was exhaustion. Betrayal, anger, relief. They all swirled together into something I couldn't even name. My phone buzzed on the counter. I ignored it. I already knew who it was. Instead, I grabbed a trash bag and started moving through the house. Every single thing she had left behind went straight in. Clothes, makeup, that stupid scented candle she always lit but never actually burned. It all went. I wasn't leaving a single trace of her here. Halfway through, I found a photo album shoved in the back of the closet. Our wedding pictures, our first vacation, smiling faces, hands intertwined, eyes full of promises that meant nothing now. I stared at one of the photos. Eva in her white dress, looking up at me like I was the only man in the world. And all I could think was how fake it had been. How easy it had been for her to lie, to play the role of the loving wife while sneaking off to hotel rooms with Ryan. Without thinking, I ripped the picture in half. Then another, and another. By the time I was done, the album was nothing but shredded paper. I shoved the pieces into the bag, tied it up, and tossed it by the door. My phone buzzed again. This time I checked. Eva, you think this is over? I exhaled sharply through my nose, shaking my head. Of course she couldn't just leave quietly. I typed back. Asterisk, it was over the second you cheated. Move on. Asterisk. A minute later her reply came. Eva, asterisk, I hope you know a good lawyer. Because you're gonna need one. Asterisk. I laughed under my breath. Asterisk, you have no leverage, Eva. You cheated. You have no claim to anything. Asterisk. Eva. Asterisk, you really think that matters? Watch me. Asterisk. I stared at the screen, my jaw tightening. I had no doubt she'd try something. She was bitter, cornered, and desperate. But she had already lost. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. No calls. No surprise visits. Just silence. I knew better than to trust it. Then, on Friday morning, a letter arrived in my mailbox. A legal notice. Eva was contesting the divorce. I had expected pettiness. I hadn't expected a full-blown legal battle. I walked straight to my lawyer's office, the letter crumpled in my fist. Mark took one look at it and shook his head. She's stalling, he said, trying to drag this out. She has no case, I said through clenched teeth. She knows that, but she's hoping to wear you down. Maybe get some money out of you in a settlement. I let out a slow breath, forcing myself to stay calm. Then we don't give her that chance. Push forward. Fast. Mark nodded. I'll file for an immediate hearing. She's not getting a dime. I left the office feeling a little lighter, but the pit in my stomach remained. Eva wasn't going to win, but she was going to make this ugly, and I had a feeling she wasn't done yet. I barely made it home before the next disaster struck. My phone rang, an unknown number flashing on the screen. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something in my gut told me to pick up. Harry speaking. A woman's voice came through, sharp and urgent. Is this Harry Thompson? Yeah. Who's this? This is Lisa Reynolds. I'm an attorney representing Ryan Carter. I went silent for a second. Then I laughed. A low, humorless chuckle. You've got to be kidding me. I assure you I'm not. Her tone was clipped, professional. My client is considering legal action against you for defamation and intentional interference with his employment. I pinched the bridge of my nose, exhaling slowly. Unbelievable. Let me guess. Eva put him up to this? I can't disclose that, she said. But I suggest you retain legal counsel if you intend to fight this. I leaned against the counter, shaking my head. So let me get this straight. Your client, who was sleeping with my wife, got fired because his own girlfriend exposed him. And now he's blaming me for it. Lisa didn't say anything for a moment. We're offering a chance to settle this privately before it escalates. I smirked. Let me save you the trouble. I'm not paying him a damn thing. If he wants to sue me, tell him I'll see him in court. I hung up before she could respond. The second I did, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Megan. I answered. Please tell me you're calling with good news. Oh, I've got great news, she said, her voice practically dripping with amusement. Ryan isn't just unemployed. He's homeless. That got my attention. What? I kicked his cheating ass out. I could practically hear the smirk in her voice. Told him to pack his things and get lost. He's been sleeping in his car for 2 nights now. Apparently, he's been trying to get Eva to let him stay with her. But she's not ready for that commitment. I barked out a laugh. So she blew up her marriage for a guy she won't even let sleep on her couch? Pretty much. I shook my head. Unreal. I thought you'd like that, she said. Then her voice turned serious. But listen, be careful. Eva's pissed. And Ryan, he's desperate. Desperate people do stupid things. I knew she was right, but I wasn't about to let them scare me. Let them try, I said. I'm done playing nice. The next morning, Eva showed up at my house again. No warning, no invitation, just banging on the door like she still had any right to be here. I opened it and leaned against the frame. What? She shoved a stack of papers into my chest. I'm contesting everything. I glanced down. You're seriously asking for spousal support? I laughed. Eva, we were married for 3 years. You were cheating for at least one of them. On what planet do you think you're getting money from me? She crossed her arms. I lost my job because of you. No, you lost your job because you couldn't keep your legs closed at work. Her nostrils flared. You want to play dirty? Fine. I can play dirty too. I narrowed my eyes. What's that supposed to mean? She smirked. Let's just say, I know things about you, Harry. Things that won't look so good in court. I stepped forward, voice low and steady. Go ahead, Eva. Drag this out. You think that scares me? All you're doing is making sure every dirty detail of your affair gets put on record. You'll be the woman who cheated and tried to scam her way into alimony. Her smirk faltered just a little. I tilted my head. Tell me, when your next boyfriend Googles your name, what do you want him to find? Her jaw tightened. Then, without another word, she turned and walked away. I shut the door and locked it behind her. And just like that, she had nothing left to threaten me with. The silence after Eva left felt different this time. Final. Like the last piece of a broken thing finally hitting the ground. I wasn't stupid enough to think she was done trying to make my life miserable, but I could tell. She was running out of moves. I sat down, exhaling slowly, the divorce papers still in my hands. A part of me wanted to tear them up just for the satisfaction, but I wasn't about to give her the pleasure of a delayed process. No, I was going to sign these, file them, and make sure she never saw a single dime from me. I grabbed a pen, but just as I was about to put it to paper, my phone rang again. Mark, my lawyer. Tell me you have good news, I answered. You could say that, he replied, a hint of amusement in his voice. We just got a response from Eva's attorney. Looks like she's realized she doesn't have a leg to stand on. She's dropping her claim for spousal support. I sat back, grinning. That was fast. She overplayed her hand. The fact that she lost her job due to an affair she started makes it nearly impossible for her to argue financial dependence. She probably figured out the judge wouldn't take kindly to her nonsense. I shook my head, chuckling. Good. The sooner I get rid of her, the better. Mark hesitated. There's one more thing. She's still trying to delay the divorce by contesting some assets. She wants half the house. My grip on the phone tightened. She's out of her damn mind. She didn't put a single cent into this house. Doesn't matter. She's claiming she contributed by managing the home. Basically, the classic, I was the wife, so I deserve something argument. I laughed coldly. The only thing she managed was sneaking around with Ryan. I hear you, Mark said. But legally, she's making enough noise that this could drag on longer unless we push back hard. Then push back. He sighed. I figured you'd say that. Mark, I don't care if this takes months. She gets nothing. Then get ready for a fight. I hung up, shaking my head. Eva wasn't even trying to win anymore. She just wanted to make this painful. But I could be patient. She had already lost her job. Her affair had blown up in her face. And her precious Ryan was living out of his car. If she wanted to keep playing this game, I'd make damn sure she left with even less than what she started with. 2 days later, Megan called me again. "You're gonna love this," she said, barely able to contain her laughter. "Guess where Ryan is staying now?" I smirked. "Please tell me it's not with Eva." "Oh, I wish," she said. "No, he's staying with his mom." I nearly dropped my drink. "You're kidding." "Dead serious. He begged her to take him in after you shut down his lawsuit threats. Apparently, she's not thrilled about it. You remember Mrs. Carter, right?" I did. A strict, no-nonsense woman who had never been shy about telling Ryan he needed to grow the hell up. "Oh, this is too good," I said, shaking my head. "Right? The best part? She made him get a job before letting him move in. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. But then I remembered how smug he had been, sitting in my car, bragging about how Eva was his now. So no, I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. That night, I finally did something I had been putting off for weeks. I sat down, pulled up my old wedding photos on my laptop, and deleted every single one. The vacations, the anniversaries, the moments I had once thought were real, gone. Eva had already been erased from my life. It was time to erase her from my memories, too. And when I finally hit that last delete button, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. A week passed without a word from Eva, and for the first time in months, my life felt normal again. I went to work, hit the gym, grabbed drinks with friends, and didn't once have to deal with some ridiculous stunt from my soon-to-be ex-wife. It was almost suspicious. Then, just when I started to think maybe, just maybe, she had finally given up, reality came crashing back. I was pulling into my driveway when I noticed something strange. My trash cans had been knocked over, and there was a pile of shredded paper scattered across my lawn. At first, I thought it was some raccoons or a windy night, but then I saw what the papers actually were. Legal documents. My legal documents. I jumped out of the car, my pulse spiking. The divorce filings. My lawyer's letters. Every document tied to the case. Ripped to pieces and thrown across my yard. Eva. I clenched my jaw, scanning the area. Was she watching? Hiding somewhere? I didn't see her, but I wasn't stupid enough to think this was some random act. I pulled out my phone and called Mark. "Harry," he answered. "Everything okay?" "Not exactly," I said, walking up to my porch. "Eva, or someone working for her, broke onto my property and trashed my legal paperwork." There was a pause. "What do you mean trashed?" "I mean it's all over my damn yard." Mark exhaled sharply. "That's a serious offense. You need to file a police report." "I was already planning on it," I muttered. "Good. This works in our favor," he said. "She's making herself look unhinged. If we can get proof that she did this, it'll strengthen our case in court." I smirked bitterly. "She's doing half our job for us." "Exactly." After hanging up, I immediately called the cops. They took my statement, took pictures, and promised to look into it. But I already knew how this was going to play out. Eva would deny everything, act innocent, and drag this out as long as possible. But I wasn't playing defense anymore. The next morning, I went to the courthouse and filed a restraining order. I wasn't about to let her pull another stunt like this. Eva must have gotten the notice that evening, because my phone blew up with calls and texts. I didn't bother answering, but the messages kept coming. "Eva asterisk asterisk, are you serious? A restraining order. Asterisk. Eva asterisk, you're blowing this way out of proportion. Eva asterisk asterisk, I just wanted to talk to you. That's why I came by. Asterisk. Eva asterisk, you're acting crazy, Harry. Eva asterisk, you're going to regret this." I chuckled under my breath and blocked her number. That should have been the end of it. But of course, with Eva, nothing was ever that simple. The next day, I was at work when I got a call from my bank. "Mr. Thompson, we need to verify some recent activity on your account." A cold chill ran down my spine. What kind of activity? The banker hesitated. There were several attempts to withdraw money from your joint account. I gritted my teeth. Let me guess, Eva? Yes, sir. She tried to transfer a significant amount, but the transactions were flagged as suspicious. My hands curled into fists. Shut the account down. Immediately. Yes, sir. We'll also be marking this as a fraudulent attempt. Would you like to pursue legal action? I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly. Not yet, I muttered. But document everything. Eva was desperate now. That much was clear. She had lost control of the situation, and instead of accepting defeat, she was grasping at whatever straws she had left. I wasn't going to let her take a damn thing from me. That night, I sat down with a glass of whiskey, staring at the city lights from my balcony. This wasn't just a messy divorce anymore. This was war, and I was going to make damn sure I came out of it as the only winner. 2 days later, Eva escalated again. I woke up to an email from my HR department with the subject line, Urgent Misconduct Allegation Inquiry. I stared at it for a solid minute before opening it. Asterisk, Dear Mr. Thompson, we have received an anonymous complaint alleging inappropriate workplace behavior. While we are not assuming wrongdoing, we are required to conduct a formal inquiry. Please be available for a meeting on asterisk. I stopped reading, my pulse hammering. I already knew who was behind this. Eva. She was trying to get me fired. I leaned back in my chair, rubbing my temples. I had seen it all with this woman, but even I hadn't expected this level of desperation. This was a last-ditch effort, a way to ruin me since she couldn't get my money. I took a deep breath, exhaled, then called Mark. She did what? He said, incredulous. Filed a fake complaint at my job, I said, voice tight. He cursed under his breath. She's completely lost it. Yeah, no kidding. She's flailing, Harry. She's backed into a corner and throwing whatever she can at the wall, hoping something sticks. This is actually a good thing. I laughed bitterly. You think getting accused of workplace misconduct is a good thing? Hear me out, Mark said. She's making herself look completely unhinged. The more ridiculous stunts she pulls, the worse she looks in court. If we can prove this was her, she's done. I exhaled. He was right. This wasn't the time to panic. This is defamation, I said. I could sue her for this. You absolutely could, Mark agreed. But let's focus on the divorce first. Once that's settled, we can talk about legal action. I nodded, already forming a plan. I need to prove it was her. Leave that to me, Mark said. I'll make some calls. The meeting at work was a joke. HR was professional, but I could tell they didn't take the complaint seriously. We received an anonymous report, my manager said, shuffling papers. But there's no actual evidence attached. Do you have any idea who might have done this? I almost laughed. Yeah, my soon-to-be ex-wife. The HR rep exchanged glances with my manager. That would make sense. I pulled out my phone. She's been pulling stunts non-stop. I have a restraining order against her. A few days ago, she trespassed on my property and destroyed legal documents. Before that, she tried to steal money from my account. Now, she's trying to get me fired. I could see the relief in their eyes. They wanted to believe me, and now they had every reason to. This complaint is baseless, my manager said. Consider it closed. I left the office feeling something close to victory, but I wasn't done yet. That night, Mark called me with an update. Got her, he said, triumphant. What do you mean? The complaint? It was filed from an IP address linked to Eva's email account. She didn't even try to cover her tracks. I laughed, shaking my head. Unbelievable. She's sunk, Mark said. When we present this in court, the judge is going to love it. For the first time in months, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. I felt like I was winning. The final court date came faster than I expected. Eva showed up looking rough. Her usual smugness was gone, replaced with exhaustion. Her lawyer whispered furiously in her ear, but she barely reacted. She knew. She had lost. The judge didn't waste time. All financial claims by the respondent are denied, she said firmly. The prenuptial agreement stands. The respondent is not entitled to any spousal support, and no assets will be divided. Eva's jaw clenched. The court also recognizes multiple attempts by the respondent to interfere with the petitioner's employment and financial security. The judge continued. As a result, a permanent restraining order is granted. Boom! The gavel hit. It was over. Eva shot me a murderous glare as we left the courtroom. "You happy now?" she hissed. I smiled. "Very." She stormed off without another word. As I walked outside, the weight I had been carrying for months finally lifted. I was free. And Eva? She was nothing but a bad memory. As I stepped out of the courthouse, the crisp air hit me like a fresh start. The weight was gone. The anger, the betrayal, the endless mind games. None of it mattered anymore. Eva was done. She had thrown everything she had at me, and in the end, she had nothing left. No money, no leverage, no control. I pulled my phone from my pocket and blocked her number for the last time. No more angry texts. No more manipulative calls. No more Eva, period. As I walked toward my car, Mark clapped a hand on my shoulder. "Drinks on me," he said with a grin. "You just won the war." I smirked. Damn right I did. But this wasn't just about winning. It was about reclaiming my life. I took one last glance at the courthouse doors, where Eva still stood, looking lost. She had spent so much time trying to tear me down that she never stopped to think about what she'd do when she had nothing left. That was her problem now, not mine. I got in my car, turned the key, and drove off, leaving the wreckage of my past exactly where it belonged. Behind me,